Hello, everyone. Among the myriad of human behaviors, there's a topic that continues to remain shrouded in mystery, silence, and discomfort. It's a subject most people shy away from discussing, even though it's a natural part of our biology and intimacy. I'm Dr. James, and today, we're going to cross that boundary. We'll talk about what truly happens in the body when semen is ingested, and why this act, which many consider simple, is generating such interest in modern science. For decades, this practice has primarily been viewed as a personal choice, linked to pleasure, morality, or cultural taboos. However, recent scientific research suggests there's something far deeper at play, a genuine chemical reaction between two human organisms. We're not dealing with a trivial gesture, but rather a complex biological exchange that can influence mood, sleep, immunity, and even emotional bonds. This video is not a place for judgment. Here, the goal is to understand the science behind this phenomenon with respect, curiosity, and based on real evidence. Because semen, contrary to popular belief, is not merely a vehicle for reproduction. It's an advanced biological fluid, meticulously produced by the male body, containing an impressive blend of hormones, enzymes, and neurotransmitters. What you are about to discover may contradict common sense, but if you're seeking knowledge without bias and want to understand how biology and human behavior intertwine in fascinating ways, then this material is for you. Let's get to the essence. The first thing we need to address is what is actually contained in semen. Before anything else, we must dispel a misconception that almost everyone still repeats. Semen, in essence, is not primarily composed of sperm. In fact, these cells make up only about 5% to 10% of the total volume. The remaining 90% to 95% is a highly sophisticated fluid known as seminal plasma. And it is this plasma component that makes seminal fluid a complex biological cocktail, designed by evolution to protect, nourish, and stimulate life. It's not an ordinary fluid. It's the result of a precise combination of substances produced by various glands of the male reproductive system, each serving its own function. One of the main components is fructose, a type of simple sugar that serves as fuel for sperm. It provides the necessary energy for their movement. Proteins and enzymes are also present, which protect sperm from the acidic environment of the female reproductive tract and regulate the fluid's viscosity, allowing it to become thicker or more fluid at the right moment. Additionally, seminal fluid contains important vitamins and minerals such as zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin B12, which act as antioxidants and are essential for DNA integrity and cell viability. But it's when we look beyond the reproductive function that the picture becomes even more captivating. Recent studies, such as reviews published in Reproductive Biology and Endocrinology, show that seminal plasma contains hundreds of bioactive molecules, hormones, cytokines, and neurotransmitters that interact directly with the female body. This means that during intimate contact, these substances are not limited solely to the function of fertilization. They can activate hormonal receptors, modulate immune responses, and in some cases, even influence mood and emotional balance. Among the most interesting compounds are cortisol, responsible for regulating inflammation and stress; melatonin, which helps regulate sleep; serotonin, known as the happiness hormone; and oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, important for forming feelings of connection and trust. These substances are the same ones the human body naturally produces to control emotions, sleep, and overall well-being. The difference is that, in this instance, they appear in an unexpected biological context, within a fluid previously viewed solely as a reproductive transport medium. Seminal fluid is, in essence, an incredibly complex chemical messenger, and understanding its composition is the first step toward comprehending why it can have effects extending far beyond the sexual act itself. Second, potential psychological and physiological effects. Once we understand the complexity of seminal fluid as a biological medium, the inevitable question arises: can these compounds truly influence the female body? Science indicates yes, and the discoveries surprise even the researchers themselves. One of the most notable studies on this topic was conducted at the State University of New York and published in 2002. Nearly 300 sexually active women were assessed for mood symptoms and depression, and the results were compelling. Those who had direct contact with semen showed lower levels of depression and better emotional well-being, according to recognized clinical tests. Scientists hypothesize this difference may be linked to the absorption of hormones and neurotransmitters present in semen, such as serotonin, oxytocin, and melatonin. These are substances identical to those the body uses to regulate happiness, connection, and sleep. In other words, intimate contact doesn't just evoke an emotional response. It triggers a real biochemical reaction. While this area is still being actively studied, the evidence points to a significant conclusion. Semen is not a neutral fluid. It contains compounds capable of influencing hormonal balance and mood, illustrating that the human body communicates on a much deeper level than we often assume. Third, the immunological role and possible protective effect during pregnancy. Among the most intriguing aspects of semen is its interaction with the female immune system. For a long time, its role was believed to be limited to fertilization, but science has begun to reveal that this fluid also performs functions of communication and immunological adaptation, particularly in couples maintaining stable relationships. Simply put, a woman's body must learn to tolerate her partner's DNA. Half of a child's genetic material comes from the father, meaning that from a biological perspective, it is a foreign body within the mother's organism. If the immune system doesn't recognize this DNA as safe, it can react aggressively, and this is linked to serious complications such as preeclampsia, a condition of elevated blood pressure and inflammation during pregnancy. And this is where a surprising discovery emerges. A review of studies conducted by Anderson and colleagues in 2015, published in Human Reproduction Update, demonstrated that consistent exposure to the semen of the same partner helps a woman's body develop immunological tolerance. In other words, repeated contact with that man's proteins and molecules educates the female immune system, which then begins to recognize them as safe. This adaptation, according to researchers, may reduce the risk of preeclampsia and other adverse reactions during pregnancy. One could say, the body receives small samples of this DNA over time, creating a form of natural immunization. Of course, it's crucial to remember, this is not a recommendation or a proven preventive method. It is a scientific observation of how the human body interacts and adapts in one of biology's most complex processes. Semen, therefore, is not merely a carrier of life, but also an immune messenger, capable of influencing the balance of the female organism in ways science is only beginning to understand. Fourth, real and proven risks. After exploring the possible positive effects, it's crucial to consider the other side, one that is often ignored but needs to be clearly stated. Just as semen contains bioactive substances, it can also be a carrier for disease transmission. This, without a doubt, represents the most significant of all risks. Seminal plasma is a bodily fluid. Like any human fluid, it can carry viruses and bacteria capable of causing severe infections. It's a misconception to believe that oral sex or contact with semen is safe merely because it doesn't involve genital penetration. The science is clear on this matter. The mouth, throat, and digestive tract have sensitive mucous membranes, containing microfissures and blood vessels that can absorb pathogens. Among the most commonly transmitted infections are HIV, HPV, herpes simplex, chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Some of these diseases can remain asymptomatic for months or even years, making it impossible to determine the presence of an infection based on external signs alone. Therefore, prevention must always begin with trust, open dialogue, and regular health screenings between partners. Another less discussed point is hypersensitivity to seminal plasma. This is a rare but medically documented allergic reaction. It occurs when a person's immune system overreacts to sperm proteins, causing symptoms like redness, itching, swelling, and in severe cases, anaphylactic reactions that require immediate medical attention. Furthermore, it's vital to remember that the composition of semen directly reflects a man's lifestyle. What he consumes, the medications he uses, and habits like alcohol consumption and smoking all alter its chemical quality. This means that toxic substances, drugs, and even medication residues can be found in the fluid, making its consumption potentially hazardous. The simple and necessary message here is that sperm is an active biological fluid, and it should be approached with the same responsibility and caution as any other human fluid. To ignore this is to expose oneself to serious and unnecessary risks. Fifth, striking a balance between curiosity and responsibility. By this point, you should understand that we are dealing with a much deeper topic than simple taboos or personal preferences. From a biological perspective, swallowing semen is a true chemical exchange between two human bodies, involving hormones, proteins, enzymes, and immunological reactions. However, it is also an act that demands responsibility, trust, and awareness. Science can show us the mechanisms, possibilities, and even potential benefits. But what it also clearly demonstrates is that no positive effect justifies the risk of carelessness. Any form of intimate practice is only possible with dialogue, respect, and mutual safety. Therefore, before considering curiosity or pleasure, it's vital to remember, semen is neither a harmless substance nor a miraculous elixir. It is part of an extremely complex biological system that can both contribute to the body's balance and transmit diseases or cause adverse reactions. True wisdom lies in seeking information and acting with responsibility. Knowledge of human body science is not an invitation to experiment, but to understand and respect one's own body and that of another. And this is the most crucial aspect of this conversation. The more we understand biological processes, the less room there is for fear, prejudice, and misinformation. Discussing this openly, based on facts and without sensationalism, is the most mature way to approach human sexuality. At the end of this journey, one truth becomes evident. It contains hormones, proteins, and molecular messengers that can influence mood, the immune system, and even our very sense of emotional connection. But the other side of this same reality is no less important. This profound exchange is only truly possible within a context of trust, health, and complete awareness. Information without responsibility can quickly turn into a risk. Conversely, responsibility without information is merely fear. What science strives to do, and what we aim to achieve here, is to illuminate the path of knowledge. This allows each of us to make truly informed decisions about our own bodies and the relationships we choose to cultivate. As Dr. James, I firmly believe that understanding the human body is the essential first step towards living with greater freedom, safety, and respect. If this video has offered you a new perspective on this important topic, I encourage you to share it and contribute to the conversation by leaving your comments with respect and genuine curiosity. For those who wish to explore further, all cited scientific sources are available in the description and the pinned first comment, allowing you to verify, study, and form your own conclusions. Thank you for watching this material all the way through. And always remember, science doesn't judge, it explains. Until our next conversation, next.